Right now, there is actually a very good chance that you are breathing in the microscopic dust of a totally wild ecosystem.
Yeah, one that's thriving directly above your head.
Exactly. I mean,
Wow.
you lock the front door, you set the security alarm, maybe you turn on the porch light, and you think, you've created an impenetrable
You
fortress.
assume you've officially shut nature out.
Right. But to local wildlife, your house isn't a fortress at all. It's just uh, a conveniently constructed, climate-controlled hollow tree.
It really is. It's a perfect case study for understanding structural ecology, actually.
Yeah. And today, our mission for this deep dive is exploring that wild, sometimes totally chaotic intersection of human homes and native wildlife.
Because we aren't just talking about a stray bug wandering into your kitchen.
No, not at all.
We're looking at highly adaptable mammals and reptiles that have literally learned to exploit the actual architecture of your home.
Okay, so let's unpack this. We've got a fascinating stack of sources today.
Really fascinating.
We're looking at hazard reports from the CDC, data from Texas Parks and Wildlife, and right down to the operational playbook of a specific Houston area wildlife management company that handles this delicate balance.
And the focus of our sources today really zeroes in on Huffman, Texas.
Yes, Huffman. For those of you who haven't been, it's this gorgeous, unincorporated community in northeastern Harris County.
It's beautiful.
It is. Picture this. You've got these residential developments, but they are sitting right alongside heavily wooded acreage and open pastures.
Right, you've got the piney woods running along the eastern shore of Lake Houston.
And the San Jacinto River is right there feeding the reservoir. So it looks idyllic, but you are completely intertwined with the wild.
And that geography. I mean, that is the engine driving the entire conflict.
How so?
Well, you have bottomland hardwoods and creek drains crisscrossing the whole area. And for local wildlife, those aren't just scenic features.
Right, they're not just there for the view.
Exactly.
Mm.
They are biological highways. They provide dense cover and water, creating direct travel routes.
So whether you live in a 50-year-old home sitting on a massive wooded lot, or you just unpacked boxes in a brand new subdivision.
The ecological math remains exactly the same.
Right.
The tree canopy is close, the water source is close, so the animals naturally just follow those resources right to your doorstep.
Which brings us to the company dossier I was looking through. The team on the front lines of this specific area.
The critter team.
Yeah, the Critter team. According to their background, they were founded in June 2015 by Mike Garrett.
Who is a retired U.S. military veteran, right?
He is, yeah. And coordinating the whole operation, the scheduling, dispatching, all the logistics across Huffman and Harris County is Victoria Garrett.
And she's been managing the office since, what, January 2016?
Exactly. And honestly, reading through this, it sounds more like a tactical deployment unit than a typical pest control company.
Well, what's fascinating here is their core operational philosophy. It completely separates them from traditional exterminators.
Right, because they handle nuisance wildlife, not insects.
Right. They hold a Texas nuisance wildlife removal permit, meaning they handle complex vertebrates. But if you look at their liability coverage,
Oh, the insurance. Yeah, that stood out to me.
it tells a very specific story about the danger of this work. I mean, they carry $1 million per occurrence and a $2 million aggregate general liability.
Plus full workers' comp.
Exactly.
But, I mean, I have to play devil's advocate for a second here.
Sure.
If I hear scratching in my wall, my first instinct is to just, call a standard exterminator or run out and buy some traps.
Yeah, that's what most people do.
Right.
Yeah.
So why go through this military-level operation? Like, why do you need millions of dollars in insurance just to get a squirrel out of a house?
Because extracting wild animals requires tearing into structural damage and dealing with concentrated biological hazards,
Ooh.
often to 30 feet in the air.
Yeah.
Standard exterminators just won't touch it.
I guess that makes sense.
It's worse than trying to put a Band-Aid on a broken arm. If you use a standard pest control approach for wildlife, you actually often just trap the animal inside.
Which creates a massive biohazard.
A huge one. That's why Critter Team does everything 100% in-house. No subcontractors at all.
Oh, wow. So they do the humane removal, but then they meticulously repair the architecture, too.
Exactly. They seal the entry points, they clean the biological damage, and they back it all with a written warranty.
All right, so let's look at how this invasion actually happens. We'll start at the highest point of vulnerability, which is the roofline.
The roofline is huge.
Yeah, you think of your roof as a shield against the rain, but to local wildlife, it actually acts like a giant thermal vent.
Right. Heat rises.
It escapes through the gaps in your roof. And in a place like Huffman with that heavy tree cover, bats feel that warm air and they just move right in.
And bats are incredibly prolific in this region. Their anatomy actually allows them to exploit the tiniest architectural flaws.
They really do. The sources note they squeeze behind fascia boards.
For those who aren't familiar, those are the long wooden planks tucked right under the edge of your roofline that cap the brick.
Right, or they find deteriorating mortar joints. And new builds aren't safe either, are they?
Not at all. Improperly sealed, builder-grade vents give them a straight shot right inside.
And we aren't just talking about 1 or 2 bats hanging upside down here.
Oh no, a single colony can number in the hundreds.
Which brings us back to those biological hazards you mentioned earlier. It shifts from being just a noise nuisance to a severe health and safety crisis.
Right. The CDC issues very strict warnings about this. Obviously, bats are vectors for rabies.
Through bites or scratches, right?
Exactly. But the secondary, kind of hidden danger is the guano accumulating in your attic.
And this is where we get into that microscopic dust I mentioned at the very beginning.
Precisely. Bat guano harbors fungal spores called histoplasma.
Histoplasma.
Okay. Yeah. When that guano sits in a dry attic, the fungus just grows. If anyone disturbs it like a contractor or even just a really strong draft, those microscopic spores become aerosolized.
Oh man, so if they get pulled into your HVAC system.
You breathe them right in, and when those dry spores hit the moist, warm environment of human lungs, they germinate.
That is terrifying.
It causes a severe respiratory infection called histoplasmosis.
Wow. Which definitely makes sense why Mike Garrett holds a National Wildlife Control Operators Association NWCOA BAT standard certification.
It's highly specialized work.
It has to be. The dossier says he's personally completed between 60 and 80 BAT exclusions, and the company handles 30 to 40 of these every year.
Yeah.
But let me ask you this. Why can't a homeowner just, wait until dusk, watch all the bats fly out to go eat mosquitoes, grab a ladder, and just board up the hole?
I mean, it seems like a logical, cheap fix, right?
Right.
But it's actually biologically disastrous. Well, first, not all bats leave at the same time. But more importantly, during certain seasons, you have flightless pups left inside the roost.
Oh, no. So if you board up that hole...
You just trapped dozens of bats inside.
Yeah.
And they will panic.
Obviously.
In their desperation to find another way out, they will squeeze down your wall voids and literally end up directly inside your living room.
Oh, wow. Yeah, a panicked, potentially rabid bat flying around your kitchen is an absolute nightmare scenario.
Exactly why professional exclusion is required. They use these one-way devices over the entry points.
How do those work?
The mechanism basically allows the bats to drop out and fly away, but the physical design prevents them from flying back in.
Oh, that's clever.
Yeah. And you leave those up for a specific period to ensure the pups have matured and the entire colony is vacated. Only then do you permanently seal the gap.
But the roofline vulnerabilities don't just attract bats, do they?
No, birds are drawn to those exact same thermal vents.
Right. We're talking European starlings, house sparrows, pigeons. They pack their nests into dryer vents, bathroom exhaust vents, open soffits.
Anywhere they can fit, basically.
The company dossier even mentions seeing this on the commercial properties along FM 2100 in Huffman.
Oh, yeah.
Birds packing nests into commercial signage and HVAC housings.
And the mechanics of a bird nest in a building are highly destructive.
I wouldn't have thought a bird nest could be that bad.
Think about it. A nest packed into a dryer vent catches all the lint, which completely blocks the hot airflow.
Oh, that is a massive fire hazard.
Exactly. Additionally, bird waste is highly acidic. It literally corrodes metal and destroys building facades over time.
But the sources also highlight a massive legal hurdle here. You can't just go up there with a broom and sweep the nest away, right?
No, you absolutely cannot. The U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service strictly enforces the Migratory Bird Treaty Act.
Okay.
It protects the vast majority of native bird species. It is straight up illegal to disturb an active nest or harm protected species without very specific federal authorization.
So how does a homeowner deal with a federally protected species blocking their bathroom vent?
By utilizing licensed operators and certified equipment. The Quitter team uses bird barrier certified installations.
What does that involve?
It involves precise architectural modifications, spiking, netting, and specialized vent covers that permanently alter the landing zones.
So it excludes the birds without actually harming them.
Right. And once the area is legally cleared, they do full sanitization to remove the acidic waste and clear out the ductwork.
Makes sense. So If the roofline vents are the thermal draw for bats and birds,
Yeah.
the actual attic space underneath is like the ultimate incubator for larger mammals.
Oh, for sure. Once you get inside the attic, you are in a luxury critter condo,
And the most aggressive tenant in that condo is the raccoon.
without a doubt.
Picture this, right? Late winter, a female raccoon is looking for a warm, safe place to have her litter.
She climbs up the gutter.
Yeah, because they can easily climb downspouts, even if you've done a good job trimming your trees back from the roof. She gets up there. She finds one of those 30 by 30 round mushroom vents, the dome-shaped aluminum cover you see spinning on roofs.
Uh-huh.
And she literally just grabs the edge and tears the metal open with her bare hands.
It's crazy. Their manual dexterity and sheer physical strength are just incredible.
And once they're inside,
They crush your insulation, destroying your home's energy efficiency. They tear up the ductwork to nest in the warm fiberglass.
it's a disaster. And you'll often find these massive Chihuahua-sized droppings right on the roof near the entry point.
Yeah, Chihuahua-sized droppings. That is definitely a red flag.
But it's not just structural damage, is it? The CDC has another warning here.
Yes, they do. Raccoon feces actually carry eggs for a parasite called Balasiscaris roundworm.
Balasiscaris. Wow.
And these microscopic eggs are incredibly resilient. They can survive in your attic insulation for years.
Years. Really?
Yeah, posing a severe neurological threat if ingested or inhaled during a cleanup attempt.
Yikes. So how do you get a highly protective mother raccoon and her babies out of an attic safely without creating a huge biohazard?
It requires strategic trapping.
Mm-hmm.
The critter team uses humane live traps that they check daily.
Okay.
The critical factor here is biology. You have to keep the nursing female and her young together during relocation.
Because if you scare the mother out and then patch the roof...
The babies are trapped inside to die, which results in a horrific odor problem.
No, that's awful.
So they extract the whole family together, sanitize the roundworm risk, and then permanently seal that mushroom vent.
Here's where it gets really interesting, though. Raccoons rely on brute strength, right? But squirrels are essentially acrobats.
Absolutely.
In Huffman's piney woods setting, you have those tall pines overhanging the houses. The squirrels literally base jump from the branches right onto the roof.
They don't even need to touch the ground.
Not at all. And the core issue with squirrels isn't really nesting, it's their dentition.
Their teeth.
Right. Their incisors never stop growing. So to keep them filed down, a squirrel is biologically compelled to chew constantly.
And in your attic,
Yeah.
they're chewing the wooden structural supports and, terrifyingly, the electrical wiring.
Right. They strip the plastic insulation right off the copper wires.
Exactly.
And the Kansas State University Extension has actually documented how frequently this exact behavior leads to catastrophic, unexplained house fires.
It's a huge risk. And this is precisely where the DIY approach goes horribly wrong.
How so?
Well, a homeowner hears the scratching, spots a chewed hole in the soffit connection, which is that underside of the eaves where the roof meets the house.
Right.
And they call a local handyman to just spray some expanding foam or, nail a piece of wood over it.
Which traps the squirrel inside the house.
Exactly. And a trapped squirrel will panic. It will literally chew through the interior drywall to escape.
Oh my God.
Suddenly, you don't have a squirrel in your attic. You have a squirrel running across your kitchen counter.
That is insane. So how do you stop them?
To prevent this, the critter team fabricates custom 23-gauge aluminum on site.
Custom aluminum. Nice.
Yeah. They paint it to match the home's exterior perfectly, and they install this heavy-duty metal at every compromised soffit connection. The squirrels physically cannot chew through it.
That's brilliant. All right, let's talk about the other chewing terror. Roof rats.
Oh, rats?
The dense vegetation and proximity to the lake and Huffman give rats everything they need to thrive. And they only need a gap the size of a dime to slip inside.
Just a dime. It's wild.
And you usually only find out you have them when you start seeing small, dark pellets scattered all along their travel paths.
In the attic, on garage shelves, even inside kitchen drawers sometimes.
Yeah. And the EPA notes that rat urine and droppings carry pathogens that easily become airborne in enclosed spaces.
Plus, they chew through PVC plumbing, which causes hidden water leaks inside the walls.
It is a multifaceted nightmare of property damage and disease.
It really is.
But look, if I have rats, honestly, I'm driving straight to the hardware store for a bucket of rat poison. It's cheap. It's easy.
Sure.
Why does the critter team strictly refuse to use poison?
Because of how the poison actually works within the architecture of a home.
What do you mean?
Rat poison is an anticoagulant. It doesn't kill the animal instantly.
Oh, I see.
The rat ingests it, begins to feel sick, and its natural biological instinct is to retreat to the deepest, darkest, most inaccessible part of your wall void to die.
Oh, no.
Yes. So you might successfully kill the rat, but 3 days later, the decomposition begins.
And the smell.
The odor is horrific. It will literally force you out of your home.
Wow.
And because it's trapped between the studs, the only way to fix it is to blindly cut holes in your drywall until you finally locate the carcass.
That sounds like a horribly expensive disaster.
It is. That's exactly why the critter team relies entirely on mechanical snap traps, placed precisely along confirmed travel path.
So you catch the rat and you immediately remove the biohazard.
Exactly. No mystery odors.
Yeah.
And after the population is removed, they do a massive architectural sweep.
Sealing everything up.
Right. They install copper or stainless steel mesh in the wheat vents, which those intentional little gaps left in brick walls to let moisture escape.
Oh.
They put galvanized covers on the roof vents, and they use clear sealant around every single AC line penetration where a rat might squeeze through.
Okay, so we've covered the roof line and the attic, but what happens in the attic doesn't stay in the attic, does it?
Definitely not.
The waste, the dropped nuts from squirrels, the scent trails, they literally feed the ecosystem down at ground level.
It's all connected.
It really is. And Huffman's environment, the river bottomland, the wetlands, it's prime habitat for snakes.
Oh, yeah. Prime habitat.
You've got venomous species like copperheads and western cottonmouths near the water, plus non-venomous rat snakes and coach whips.
Yep.
Now, finding a snake in the yard is one thing, but finding one inside the living room...
That's a whole different story.
Right. So what does this all mean? Why is a copperhead inside the house in the first place?
If we connect this to the bigger picture, the answer is almost always rodents.
Really?
Yeah. The Texas Parks and Wildlife Department tracks the specific habitats where these snakes thrive, and the inside of a human dwelling isn't naturally one of them.
That makes sense.
A snake's motivation is very simple. They only care about 3 biological imperatives:
Which are?
hibernating, mating, or eating.
So if it's not the middle of winter and it's not mating season...
Then it is actively hunting.
Wow.
If you have a snake inside your house, it is almost a guarantee that you have a rodent problem in your walls.
So the snake simply picked up the scent trail of the mice or rats.
And followed it right through an unsealed AC line or a gap under the garage door.
The snake is literally just the alarm bell for a hidden rat infestation.
Exactly. The critter team's trained technicians obviously handle the immediate, safe capture and relocation of the venomous snake, but they understand the causality.
Right. Removing the snake is just treating a symptom.
They have to do the ground-level rodent exclusion to eliminate the food source. Otherwise, another snake will follow the exact same scent trail next week.
That is wild. Now, what about the yard itself?
The yard is a whole ecosystem, too.
Right. If you have sandy soil and an irrigated lawn in Huffman, you are basically creating a buffet for armadillos.
Oh, they love it.
They come in at night and dig these 3 to 4 inch cone-shaped holes everywhere looking for grubs.
And most homeowners view that merely as, cosmetic damage to their landscaping.
But it's worse than that.
Much worse. The Texas A&M AgriLife Extension details the severe structural risks of armadillo activity. To survive, they dig deep, extensive burrows.
And when they dig those burrows right next to a home's foundation.
Or under a concrete driveway, or beneath a heavy AC pad, they are physically removing the structural support of the soil.
Oh, man. So over time, the soil compresses.
The concrete cracks, the AC pad sinks, and the foundation footers can actually settle.
Yeah.
It causes massive structural failure.
And you can't just go buy a cage trap at the hardware store and stick it in the middle of the lawn, right?
I mean, you can try, but you will almost certainly fail.
Why is that?
Armadillos have terrible eyesight. They navigate relying heavily on established travel vectors and physical barriers.
Okay, so how do you catch them?
The critter team uses humane live traps, but success is entirely based on the physics of placement.
The angle and everything.
Exactly. The precise angle of the trap relative to the burrow entrance or the fence line is critical. It takes a deep understanding of their behavioral ecology.
And once trapped, they are humanely relocated far from residential infrastructure.
Yep.
And we'd be remiss if we didn't briefly mention the other ground dwellers causing chaos.
Skunks, for one.
Right. Skunks love to den under raised decks, requiring professional trapping and specialized odor-neutralizing treatments.
And opossums. If they get into a crawl space, they generate dropping so fast that the scent acts as a beacon.
Drawing other predators straight to your house.
Exactly. And of course, the absolute worst case scenario.
Dead animal extraction.
Yeah.
If a raccoon or a possum naturally dies in the chimney or the wall void.
The critter team has to come in, locate the source of the decomposition, extract the biological hazard, and apply enzyme sanitization so the house is actually livable again.
It is a comprehensive biological and architectural war, honestly.
Yeah.
From the peak of the roof down to the dirt under the foundation footers.
It really is incredible to think about the sheer complexity of what is going on just inches away from us. Behind the drywall, inside the vents, underneath the driveway.
It's a constant, invisible
And
ecosystem.
And whether you are in a brand new Huffman subdivision or an older house nestled deep in the piney woods, nature is always pressing at the borders.
Always.
If you are dealing with any of these structural breaches, you need a team that understands both the biology of the animal and the architecture of the building.
Definitely.
You can reach the critter team at their headquarters. It's 6942 FM 1960 Road East, Suite 211 in Humble, Texas, 77346.
Or you can call them directly at 281-667-0171.
281-667-0171.
This raises an important question, though, for anyone listening.
Okay.
As our human development continues to push further into these beautiful, ancient wildlife habitats, maybe we need to completely rethink our terminology.
Rethink it how?
Well, perhaps we shouldn't view these animals simply as malicious invaders.
I see.
They're really just displaced neighbors, desperately trying to adapt their ancient survival instincts to the wooden and brick structures we have dropped directly into the middle of their historical travel routes.
That's a really good point.
Right. So if we shift our mindset from old school extermination to this idea of humane boundary management, how does that fundamentally change the way we approach the very construction of our own homes?
I love that. It totally changes the perspective. You think you've locked nature out with a deadbolt, but maybe the real trick is understanding exactly how nature views your fortress in the first place. Well, thank you all for joining us on this deep dive. We'll catch you on the next one.